cards. When you start signing this paperwork with these people, we already been infiltrated. So they designed to take you right back to the system.
Mm.
So the good question just came up. What about the American rights of the indigenous people? That's the I fucked you good note on the prostitute's dresser when the John is leaving.
Damn.
That's the I told you that all your shit belonged to me, but now I'm telling you I was just lying and I fucked you good. That's
So,
all it's saying. They just telling us what we already know, but they had to tell it to us because they're not gonna believe it coming from one of us.
and that's the problem. Don't nobody believe nothing we say. They are, if the Caucasian ain't said it, then it's not true. That's what's the
And
problem.
this is the reason why that exists. Because the dirty Moors, blackamoors and tawny Moors, use pale faces to block institutions to keep us from discovering what they doing.
Exactly. You got
And
that
this is what was keeping us from developing to five-fifth realization status is because they hijacked the lodges. They came in hostile, according to Noble Drew Ali, 32-degree Scottish Rite Red Lodge. That's the motherland. They infiltrated the motherland first. That means they sent some stinking riding coochie bitches up into the families'
Damn.
harems and fucked up the families. She came in acting like she believed in the sisterhood, and then she found her head sister and busted her in the head.
Mm.
And
So
then soon as the chief said something about it, she poisoned it with hemlock.
so now I'm hearing, like I said, I'm around everywhere, but people don't see me. I'm just there. Now we got this thing. Okay, we're on the track of who we are if they do the genealogy, but then you have people saying that we actually mix with some Europeans, is where a lot of our last names coming from, and they are the European royalty bloodline. Is reason, I guess, to say that's why royalty is in America. But if you look over in Europe, ain't shit there. So where did they get their royalty from?
and their name's not Smith and Jones. Ours is.
Exactly.
Ours was the name. We had the names. They took
But
the name.
they're giving people the, what you call it, like when you trace your name back to a what's that emblem, you have the
Family crest.
yeah, the family crest. Now,
Okay, so look, these names conceal tribal identities. Jones is, remember, the J 500 years old. We've been here longer than that.
mm,
Jones is Ionis. Ionis means fish.
mm,
So the Jones clans was the clans who used to fish the rivers and the lakes on the land.
that's what's up.
Yep. My
Okay,
The
people.
what about, okay?
Johnsons, remember there was no J. It's
Mm-hmm.
Yanan. Yanan is the light bringers.
Mm.
You know, I
So
like.
the children of the ones who was the light bringers, which was priests in the community, was called Johnsons. So it's just so many things that they tricked us with that unveiling all of the tricks in one day would probably make a motherfucker drop dead at the end.
So what about, okay? One of my surnames is Walker.
Right. The Walkers is the Skywalkers. That's Big Tukey clan. The Skywalkers used to live in villages and treetops, so they burnt all the trees down.
Mm.
They was fearless. They was the ones when you watch the Great Wall, you see the women in the blue fighting those dragon bitches. That those were Skywalkers,
Oh, okay.
right? When you pull up treetop villages, you still got different tribes around the world that still got treetop villages. We had them. You used to be able to leave New Orleans in the treetops and don't even come down from the
Down
tree
on the bed. Yeah, I
until you
heard
got to Florida.
And you were absolutely right because the first thing they did on Claiborne Avenue was cut down all the trees because
that,
that's how
that
people
goes
felt.
back. That goes back to the story that these clowns is teaching, the Africa story that I was listening to. That niggas was Homo sapiens sapiens that lived up in the trees. Then one day, one of the Homo sapiens came down out the tree and started living on the land.
Look, we lived on the land. We got tribes that dive under the water. They call that's where your mermaid myth came from.
Yes.
If you pull them up, it's a tribe in South Africa that's known for diving in the ocean. That's a mermaid clan, right? And they take the word mer and say that mean more too. I would be shaking my goddamn head, right? But everything with an M and an R in it is under the dogma. Remember, it's the difference between the morals and the dogma. Under the dogma, anything with an M and an R in it is a more. If it's in the history books to prove they lie, that we've been called Moors, you can't find nowhere over here we was Moors before
I
1492.
cannot find
It's
nothing. I tell you,
and,
I've been
and
look.
anybody that want to produce it, go ahead, produce it, because you're gonna be the made that shit up.
Now
Who's
I heard
that?
the people in the islands was also.
Go ahead, sweetie. Go
No,
ahead.
you fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. There's this meme that keeps going around that saying that the word Moorish substituted was a substitute for the word Indian around 1600s. I
Yeah,
can't quote
that's
it exactly.
correct. Now remember, when Columbus came, they said they was going to India, right? This shit don't make no sense, but I'm gonna tell the story how they tell it. So he was finna find an alternative trade route to India by going east. Ain't that the story they tell us in school? All right, and once he got here, he mistaken the people on the land with the people from India. That's what they told us, ain't it? And at that time, the people of India was primarily something called a Dravidian. So if you pull up a picture of a Dravidian, then you'll see who he thought he was bumping into. But neither here nor there. The problem with that storyline that they was telling us in school is India was Hindustan into the 1900s. So where in the fuck does he think he going? Right? So when they was coming over here, they knew where they was going because his navigator, Pietro del Negro, was a blackamoor, and he was running the show. The navigator ran the ship, not the captain. Because the captain can't get nowhere if the navigator don't tell him where to go. So the navigator is a blackamoor, a Etruscan named Pietro del Negro. This is all in the history books. You can look this shit up. It's easy to find since I don't never have no receipts for the shit I be saying. But this shit is too easy to find for me to be making it up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find out in the logs that he ran into the most loving, kind, and peaceful people we ever seen in his life, they'll make a perfect motherfucker to a goddamn motherfucking sack. So Christopher Colombo, is the investigator who's traveling with the navigator. Now remember, he went to Isabella and Ferdinand to get finances for the trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secret relation between blacks and Jews say it wasn't the Jews, Jewels, of Ferdinand and Isabella that paid for Columbus's trip. It was her Jews. If you pull up the Jewish brooch, the Blackamoor Jewish brooch, they all wear them in allegiance to the royal family that they aligned with. They wear the brooch. It's a nigger face, a Blackamoor. Big lip, soup cooler, nappy head motherfucker. That's a piece of jewelry in Europe. So when you listen to Dr. John Henry Clark, he said they didn't call them Jews because they was from Judah. They called them jewels because of the jewelry. These motherfuckers' faces was on the jewelry.
Mm.
And so he gets backed up by Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben say us the black Jews, and he goes into the historical record of the people that's called Etruscans and the difference in the other peoples. It's right in the book. You know, most people are not gonna read it, but Dr. Ben put it out there for a reason, and there's some good information in there. My Pan African studies didn't fail to teach me that I'm from over here. I'm not from no goddamn Africa. I didn't come on no slave ship. I was already here. I've been so long. I've been here so long. Here wasn't even here when I got here.
That part.
And so since we've been here so long, I'm gonna remember who the fuck I am, cause that's my job. Because Mama said if you don't know who the fuck you is, you ain't gonna never know who nobody is. What the fuck she mean by that? And then I read in the philosophers, they say in the pyramids it's written, "Man, know thyself." But I don't mean I ain't got to know none other motherfucker. I just know who I am.
And we
Yeah,
got that's right. That's what's most
right.
important. As long as you know who you are.
And the rest of it gonna tell itself because those who not from the same heart link as me and my families, they will not stand up to the scrutiny. They gonna kick, scream. Then this is the craziest part. No matter how much you bust their ass in the head with the facts, they gonna send the lowest level of student, the least qualified to challenge what you're saying, to challenge you. And they gonna have a whole fucking tantrum. Like they really saying something, but the
Mm.
whole time them motherfuckers ain't saying shit. We them feather wearing motherfuckers that run around the goddamn campfire on that fire water talking about, ooh, them us.
Now, with that being said, what's the rhetoric behind the $5 Indians? And do those the sheep that, like, let's say for instance, Kyle had it in Pocahontas, right? There's a lot of like
Yeah, she
misconception
was
or just myth.
Pocahontas was a human traffic rape victim. That's what she was. She was being um, held hostage by a captor. She was the queen of the land that they had subjugated, and the rest of the queens knew who she was, and she gave them a heads up all the way across the land on the journey. See, they
Mm.
don't tell y'all that because they don't want you to know that we ain't never laid down to these motherfuckers. We just readjusted to re-strategize. And they told me, Rod, you gonna be the one figure this shit out. And I'm like, not me. I'm not the smartest motherfucker in the goddamn drawer. She said, you don't gotta be the sharpest
That's
knife in the
right.
drawer. You just gotta be sharp enough to cut something. So
That's
I've just been
right.
running around cutting the fuck out they shit everywhere I see it. This a lie, but cut this motherfucker too with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the truth cuts more than anything else.
yeah, worst thing you can tell a motherfucker is the truth. Look, you can lie on a nigga and he'll laugh at you. You tell the truth on him, he'll shoot you in your face.
Yep. And
That's
that's a
right.
fact. That's a
That's
fact.
fact.
These Negroes so lost out here, they'll argue with you and argue with you, but don't know nothing about their damn bloodline. They'll argue with you about being out of Africa. They'll argue with you about Egypt. Is that and the sad part about it, if they said they kidnapped you from the west coast of Africa, what do Egypt got any damn thing to do with west coast Africa? That's two different countries, and not only that, that's different cultures. But
Listen,
these niggas want to be Egyptians.
Egypt is as far from Ghana as New York is from Hawaii,
Facts.
if not further.
Mm, mm,
But we over here don't realize that in the motherland they got warring tribes. You got tribes of invaders and tribes that's been there since the beginning. The ones that have been there since the beginning, they never stopped fighting the motherfucker. That's why you had Ethiopians starving. The Arabs that have taken Sudanese and Somalians and Southern Egyptians and Algerians for slaves for hundreds of years. This shit ain't none of this shit new. How do we find out or translate from the real alphabets, and how are the same names in Europe and America? How do we know if history is based on this soil or across the pond when the names being same? The whole purpose of leave that up for a minute. The whole purpose of using the same names is to confuse people. You got to remember that part.
yep.
That's Anunnaki war strategy. When you go to Genesis, when you look at Cain's children, they named after Seth's children, or vice versa, right? Uh, it's difficult to learn how to translate it because you have to come into a certain knowledge of self in order to be able to see all of their tactics. When you learn how to read, excuse me, when you learn how to read your own thoughts, then the spirit come in. When the lie come up, nature tells you with an alert system, but most of us don't know our alert system. Some of us get a gut feeling, some of us get goosebumps, some of us get a headache, some of us our eyes jump, our ears ring. But we always, when we running down the wrong path, we get these intuitive reactions that the body is responding to nature telling you them niggas lying to you. Don't believe that shit. Don't trust that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So we stop teaching our children to listen to the inner voice because our school systems that we've been attending teaches them that the inner voice is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't never listen to the inner God because they've been told that the inner God is the devil. Devil mean enemy. The devil is the motherfucker telling you that shit. He said, okay, so the when you read, this was a good one. Georgetown University has a book called History of the World by Georgetown University. Oxford also have a book called Oxford University History of the World, and they some huge books. And when you read them, they don't read the same. The world history that Europe give is not the world history we get in America.
Mm.
The European world history give us more details. It shall tell us the fake names and the real names of a lot of the players, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we don't know that because we over here studying this from Americans' perspective. The American perspective is a colonizer's attempt to keep the colonized under control by teaching them a specific doctrine in education. Say teaching you in a Skinner box using the Pavlovian response system how to be a servant and usable on a workforce to keep their system afloat. Our people never mind working, but we're not gonna work for the enemy, not knowingly. And so they can't never let us know that the enemy is who we working for. Because when we realize it, we're gonna do the same thing they wrote about in the history books. They say the Native American doesn't make a good slave. The natives we found when we tried to force them to the field labor will sit in one place and refuse to move even until he starved to death.
Mm.
So they already know that we gonna follow something that the Chinese call the Wu Wei. The Wu Wei is one I got from RZA, by the way, from the Wu Tang Clan. But the Wu Wei is to do something, nothing in order to accomplish something. That
Mm.
means sit on your ass in order to win. That's all it takes. Divorce yourself from the entire system, go home and sit down and watch this bitch burn.
That's exactly that's
Take
right.
your motherfucking ball and go home. This your ball. The game over when you take your ball and go home because you're the only one with a ball on the field.
We the
Yep.
only, that's right. We the quarterbacks around here. That's right. They need our energy. I've been saying that.
So when I refer people to the Indigenous Rights Act of the United Nations and the Indigenous Rights Act of the United States, the reason why I do that is because before these motherfuckers left, they had to tell you that all of the rights they've been stealing from you, they had to count them out, the ones they stole, and tell you we didn't even have the jurisdiction to take that from you. It was good fucking you while we had you. But now, since you got into the gig that I'm really got little dick energy and I'm really short on the motherfucking delivery, I can go on and leave now. And this is your note saying goodbye. That's all it is. They fucked us good, told us how they fucked us, and left us a note on the dresser on their way out.
Then we just need to get their asses up out of here, though. That's the whole main part. Because as long as
That
they're
ain't even the hard part, though. Getting them out of here ain't even the hard part. In the because most of the dirty players have been rounded up at the highest levels. The little minions that's left, Angel Bay and them gonna clean them dirty moors up so fast y'all ain't gonna even know it was ever a dirty moor in existence.
I
I'm not
sure.
worried about that. The Almighty Peace Stones is not gonna
So
play with them.
the Caucasians are the Moors.
No.
No.
Them
Mm-mm.
motherfuckers look like us, but they not us.
Okay,
That's right.
yeah, that's
Right.
what we already said that head honcho who's running the bullshit look like us. But we talking about these old dusty motherfuckers that's running around here thinking they slick, they selling off. Well, they really ain't selling the land, they're selling what's on the land. Cause see, they got the Chinese coming up in here. The Chinese just
All that smoke and mirrors, sweetie.
That
okay.
sure is.
See,
Yeah,
so they
backdrop.
want you to think that the problem is bigger than Earth itself, so you won't even attempt to fix it. All of them pale people in positions of power is controlled by one of these dirty blackamoors.
Mm-hmm.
What they call more Zionist Jews. Them the motherfuckers been running the show ever since they been here.
Frida said, what about these Siberian chinos? Uh these Siberian Huskies.
You talking about what she talking about
$5.
Yeah,
look.
alone.
Okay, so the $5 Indians is in groups.
Mm-hmm.
You got some of them that turned on the people that made them $5 Indians.
Mm-hmm.
They got exposed to us, and they love for us. They was like, fuck them people that brought us over here. We with you. Those are the ones that was entrusted to hold tribal secrets in sweat lodges over the peace pipe. But the ones that we don't want to fuck with, you'll know them in a minute because they not gonna recognize us as nothing but some niggas. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you know the $5 Indians that I'm about to talk about next.
That's
So they
right.
had chiefs that was made chiefs by Andrew Jackson, I think it was. He can't make no motherfucking chiefs over here because he ain't no goddamn chief from over here.
There you go.
So, and
Exactly.
he ain't got no mitochondrial right to knight no man chief on this land. This is the law of the land. When you go back to the lady and talking to the Pope, she's talking about a higher law, the law of the land. She put that motherfucker on notice and said, we got the chiefs assembled. That got to be known to us. I've been screaming this shit for motherfucking 3 years now. Oh, I've been working my whole life since I can remember. I remember shoveling snow when I was 5 years old. So I know that work is part of being who we are. But it comes a point like now. I'm done with this system. I'm done with the way they run this system. I'm done with the falsehood, the lies, the bullshit, the deceit, the treachery, the fake love, the fake hugs. I'm tired of all of that. So I don't want no more parts of it. I'm done participating in foolishness and ignorance. I'm done. So if you think that I'm just going to accept it because you said it, you're probably about 98% wrong. I'm not going to just accept it because you said it. And if you think I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, then you come show me what you think I'm supposed to be doing. And that's how I say that for anybody listening. If somebody tell you you're not doing your part to a sin, you tell them to show you what the hell they think you ought to be doing if they think you're not doing it right. Because there is no blueprint for majority of us. The blueprints are all in the Catholic Church, and we have them. They written. Step-by-step instructions to a sin at any given day of the week. We have that. But Francis don't want to release it as that parasite in them been holding the documents hostage. But we don't need them. Because we didn't always have things written on paper. We got stuff written in our DNA. If we follow the DNA, if we follow the obstacle, what make us emotionally struggle, then we'll find the path. Because fear, pain, and misery are the tools of control. If you study, did the volume go down again? Facebook be doing that, so I just be sitting here in the same spot and the volume will go up and down on its own. Anyway, so if you study and you do your part, then the only person can tell you whether you're doing it correctly or incorrectly Can you hear me now, Don? Anybody can chime in if y'all can hear me. I don't know what's going on with this Facebook situation. They've been trying to stop me for a long time from delivering information. So it don't really matter. I'm still gonna put it out. Oh, okay. Okay, so here we go. The blueprint is on your DNA. So you're gonna have these urges, feelings. You're gonna be angry at stuff that don't make sense to you. That's because you're supposed to think through it. You're gonna feel heartbroken about a relationship and the person you ain't seen in years. That's because you're supposed to think through it. Why am I feeling this way? What does this mean? How do I handle this experience? Yep. When you put all these things together in your mind while you're going through these erratic emotions, you start making the emotion make sense. When the emotion begin to make sense, this is where you at mentally. Raising it from here, you at the eye level. When the emotions start to make sense, emotions don't make sense. Emotions generally don't make sense. They're irrational. But when they start making sense, you've raised your mental and your emotional to a similar level. You know what I'm saying? You raise them to a similar level. Now the emotions and the mind working together. This is the ascension. When that harmony, that divine masculine, divine feminine within start playing off each other. Because the brain, right side of the brain is feminine, left side masculine. Right brain creative, left brain is organizing. So it's linear logic. Right brain is abstract, artistic. Left brain is linear mathematic. So when you can bring the two together, then the artistic abilities start to make sense to the mathematics, and the mathematics start to be beautiful to the artistic. So you start making the two come together. And then this is when the king and queen chambers start to communicate regularly. That's what they call the sacred union in your brain. Well, in the 3D world, ceremonial magic works the best and is strongest for this reason. It gives us a point of reference, and that's the hardest thing to get when you're doing a silent meditation, is a point of reference, because you're in a free fall through upper ranks of dimensions. You're in a free fall up. And normally you fall down. That's how we got here when they blew that collider the last time and they made us come into this 3D realm and get stuck. But when we start to fall up and we're trying to orient to the chaos around us, because we're going through straight chaos as we going up. When we get to the top, now we can look over it and we can put the chaos in its correct order. This is what they call ascending to your God self, when you start to put the chaos in your mind in the correct order. All of these processes take place inside the self. You gotta conquer the irrational thought, right? The irrational thought comes from the emotions being expressed in mental imagery. Like, you got different learning styles. You have some people that learn through the feeling, they can feel it. Some people learn through the sound, they can hear it. Some people learn through the sight, and they can see it. And some people learn through the taste and smell, olfactory, and they can smell it, they can taste it. All these different sensations. Then you got some people that learn through all of them together. Omniscient, they can learn through any of it. When this takes place, you have to unite the mind stuff with the heart stuff. The creative and artistic with the intellectual and the mental. And when you do this, this is what causes all of those chakras to start spinning at a rapid rate. As they spin, it shoots the energy up to the next chakra. Most of us are blocked at the heart chakra by black goo. Now, I'm not going to deal with black goo because I dealt with it before. Y'all can look it up. The energy workers around the world is already telling y'all this black goo is a bad dude. It's hard to get out of the heart chakra. And it's a combination of science and what we call magic or sorcery. It's not just one. It's a combination of science and sorcery. They put them together to make them the most powerful force we could face. And it's been holding us back a long time. Yes. I like how you thinking, Curtis Henderson, because I'm gonna inbox you later, because we're gonna do some work together, because you bring up stuff that'll help a lot of people. Okay, so now when we looking in to the 3D world, we get stuck on the car, the house, the dog, and the mailman. Bullshit. Bullshit. That shit is passe. But they tell you not to be selfish. Now check this out. If you're trying to attain God's status, they say you don't be selfish. But then as soon as you get God's status, they say you God. All of it is about you. That's selfish. So that's a contradiction again. So you got to look for the contradictions, and then you got to find out, why are they there? Why is the contradiction there? Because the contradiction is there to get your attention. It ain't there haphazardly. It's there to get your attention. Why is it telling you God stuff this way, guys think like this, and you can't think like a mortal because mortal think like this, and it's the same shit. You know, it's the same shit. Yeah, they've been putting in a lot of movies about the black goo. As a matter of fact, the most popular one is Venom from Spider-Man. Venom is a personified black goo creature. And they kind of worked something like that, but they only talk through the heart chakra. Meaning that when you, like for instance, my curse was unrequited love. So I'm probably going to be single till I die. Well, I'm good with that. Because as soon as I tell somebody I love them, it's over with. The relationship done. No, I can't do nothing to hold on to it because that's the curse. And it is tied to the black goo. When the black goo was removed from me, one of my students took it out. The Green 8, Dariel, took the residual black goo out. And he was like, man, what is this?